Greetings, Ben Murray here with another edition of SaaS Metrics School. Today, should I segment my SaaS metrics? That's the question of the day. And this is really important in our SaaS metrics journey that we consider segmented metrics. And really, this is very applicable to sales and marketing efficiency metrics, especially, of course, there are other metrics that we need to segment, but sales and marketing efficiency metrics, definitely one that I talk a lot about in my course, in my SaaS Metrics Foundation course, about segmenting these metrics. So as we progress in our SaaS metrics journey, there's stages by ARR that I've kind of broken out in my expectation of when we should have SaaS metrics in place and then when we should segment. So early stages, if you're 0 to 1 million ARR, we just want good financials. Maybe we're looking at bookings data, growth data, revenue data. And then we've got 1 to 3 million. That's when the data becomes a little bit more interesting. But again, when we start calculating metrics in this range, in this ARR range, they're going to be an aggregate. There's just not enough data flowing through our business, sometimes to even calculate SaaS metrics. And I always say the right metrics for the right stage of our business. And then 3 to 5 million ARR, this is when I see that pivot point that there is enough data that we should be able to calculate quite a few SaaS metrics for our business. And then 5 to 10 million, reinforcing those metrics, making the data even better, the reporting even better. And then above 10 million ARR, for sure, if we look at my 5-pillar SaaS metrics framework that I teach in my course, we should have metrics calculated in each of those boxes. And then above 10 million ARR, we've got to consider segmentation. Because classic example, say you sell to SMB customers and sell to enterprise at very different price points. Aggregating metrics for these two customer profiles is dangerous. The aggregate average metrics tell us nothing. So that's the classic example, SMB versus enterprise. So what should I consider for segmented metrics? Well, one, product line. Do we have major product lines that we want to track revenue separately and track metrics separately? Then maybe by ideal customer profile. And that is really dependent on you and how you define your ideal customer profile. And then, as I mentioned before, SMB versus enterprise, we cannot combine those metrics. Absolutely not. Dangerous to our financial health. And that's where I say aggregate metrics can be dangerous to our SaaS financial health. If you're aggregating, say, a $100,000 product line with a $1,000 product line, it's just not working. We cannot do that. So those are common segments that I look at: product line, ICP, SMB versus enterprise. It could even be geography. It just depends on how you manage your business. And then I always say that kind of dictates to me as a CFO how I'm going to set up my reporting, my data, my analysis, so I can provide the leaders in the business with the data of how they want to manage their business. So final thought here with segmented metrics and aggregated metrics. So the trouble that we find when we are trying to calculate segmented metrics, say we're above 10 million ARR, is typically revenue should be very easy to identify by those segments, whether it's product line, ICP, SMB versus enterprise, pricing plan, revenue. We should be able to have very detailed numbers on the revenue side that then feeds some of our SaaS metrics. But on the expense side, that's where it gets difficult. Say, for example, CAC. We want to do CAC SMB versus enterprise, or by product line, something like that. This is where usually we don't have enough detail in our general ledger, in our chart of accounts, in our SaaS P&L to figure out the CAC that should be associated with these different segments. And so if we're just going to do a generic allocation, don't even segment. You're just going to get the same answer across the board. So as you advance in your SaaS metrics journey, you have to think hard about your expenses. Think hard about your department structure, your cost center structures, how you're coding people so that you can then have good expense detail coded as directly as possible to some of these segments. And then maybe you have to allocate some expenses, that's fine. But usually that's where we have difficulty, is in the expense side, because we just don't have enough detail to segment that. And then it really makes those segmented SaaS metrics less effective. So today's lesson, segmented metrics, definitely we have to consider our journey. We always start in aggregate, and then we have to look at what are those important segments to my business that I need to understand these metrics in even more detail. So I hope you enjoyed the episode today on segmented or aggregate SaaS metrics. And if you find value in these episodes, please, I would love, leave a 5-star rating and a review. I'd love to see that feedback. So thanks a lot. Have a great day.